Hello guys, NautoAce here, and I want to give my thoughts on the situation with Phil Spencer and the Xbox legacy. So if you've been following the situation, of course, this started with Halo Infinite, and then of course, them trying to buy Activision Blizzard, and if you know what happened to that one, it got blocked, and then of course, Redfall coming out, well, it was the same situation with Cyberpunk 2027. And on a recent interview with Kind of Funny Game, the Xbox cast, well, you cannot see that Phil Spencer, unfortunately, was frustrated. And like a lot of people, including RGT85, said he sounded defeated. So what did happen? What's the gist of it? So, like I said, if you've been following the history of what's happening with the Xbox Series XS, there are some good things about it. So don't get me wrong. The boost mode was awesome. Backwards compatibility, they added more. That was awesome. But when it comes to their actual first-party game, it's a different story. Halo had a lot of problem. Redfall had a lot of problem. And apparently, credit to Matt from Yo Video Game, I heard this from him, that other games, to some extent, are in what people call it in the development heck. They're having problem. They can't release a game. It's taking longer than what it is. What's going on? In the recent interview, a lot of people already talk about it. Is first of all, he sounds like that he doesn't want to compete with other company, with Sony, with Nintendo. I mean, to some extent, kind of makes sense, believe it or not, because you say, wait, why would you say that? Well, remember with Iwata, with the Wii, he did the same thing. He kind of gave up with the competition and decided to go to a different approach, the blue ocean, get a different type of consumer, the casual that can basically touch a controller, simple control, and play games rather than the hardcore. To some extent, it sort of worked, but in the long run, it didn't. Of course, he tried to do both with the Wii U, and of course, you know what happened there. So at first, he was saying that, well, we're not here to compete with the other competitors, which is kind of weird. Okay, fine, you're doing your own thing, kind of makes sense. Game Pass, he's the one that created Game Pass, so you got to give him props. I do like it. But of course, according to Max and some other people, it may be consumer friendly, but it's what he calls it, quote unquote, anti-business. Because Dreamcast said, and he gave his thoughts, that a lot of developers are not a fan of Game Pass because it's not making them money to some extent. Xbox themselves said, they admitted it to some extent, they are not making profit out of Game Pass. Because even so that the price is sort of good for what it is, it's sort of not justifying for them making money. So again, who knows? I'm not a business, but it's kind of weird. But the thing with Phil Spencer is he's trying to push is we're all about Game Pass, able to play our games anywhere, which is good. PC, Xbox, whatever. Heck, even if they could, PlayStation, of course, it's kind of weird. And that's always been sort of his objective rather than why should we have an Xbox console, which is kind of weird again because you make the Xbox Series X, S, and now you're telling people that you don't really have to need that. You can just buy the game on PC as long as you have a good high-end PC. And to some extent, cloud gaming, that's your thing. Yeah, you could win to some extent again, unless you have a strong internet, but that's a different story. That's what something that he's been pushing was Game Pass. And again, in the case with this interview, like I said, it was like, oh boy. Like, he sounded defeated, he sounded frustrated. Like, he even said that he doesn't even see that Starfield's going to be, like he called it, 11 out of 10, that people will flock to the Xbox ecosystem and just play Starfield. Again, it is what it is. Thoughts about that one is that it is going to concern to some extent that this guy who's Mr. Positive to some extent, if you follow them, he was always positive. He was all the gamer. He was fixing all Don Matrix mistake. All of a sudden now, he sounded so frustrated. It's like, I'm tired, I'm defeated, we're doing whatever we can. Nothing's happening. You guys are angry at us. And even to a point that, I'll give my thoughts about this a bit later, they want to fire Phil Spencer. It's a familiar pattern, but I'll explain that later. You can see there, it's like, I don't know, what do you want me to do? And oh boy, even like I said, Dreamcast guy, I was watching one of his videos. Oh man, like he even said like, yeah, he needs to get off Xbox. Again, good, not, well, I'll explain that later. So, thoughts about that one. It is unfortunate what's going on. I don't know what went wrong. I even thought when Phil Spencer took over A lot of the situation that Don Matrix did was fixed. No more Kinect. It's now an option. Okay. Now, no more always online. He fixed that. And then he bought companies. He bought developers. The reason is so they can build up their first-party repertoire. You have all this company, but for whatever reason, there's no games. What's going on? And then to some extent, he said, well, give us time. Okay, that makes sense. It's a marathon. Okay, that makes sense. But to some extent, once in a while, you might want to just drop some first-party game. I mean, there's still more. Besides Starfield, there's also Forza Sports. Keep in mind, for me personally, I'm more of a Sony person than a Microsoft person. So, like for me, yeah, I have an Xbox Series X, but the reason why I have that is so I can play my older games on that one. Plus, the boost mode. That's just for me, really. So, when it case with the first-party games, not really. I mean, there's nothing that interests me. Maybe Gears of War, if they're going to do another one. Just saying, because I did enjoy playing Gears of War 4 and 5. And I can tell you, you play that on the Series X, beautiful. Even my friends said, oh my God, it's like so different than playing it on the Xbox One. Definitely. That one, it is an unfortunate. Another one that a lot of people were very, very confused why he said this, that just because we make good games, it doesn't mean that people are going to buy our console. Right now, if you notice, I'm like even confused about that. So you don't, even if you make good games, you don't think that your console is going to be good. People might not flock to your console. So, and a lot of people kind of said this, that he might sound like that. I don't know, man. It's so weird. Like the way he talks, it's like he's giving up. It's like he's defeated. He's just tired. Like he just want to take a break or something, which I don't blame him. I mean, Kevin Feige for Marvel Studio in the same situation, a lot of mishap, and he's getting tired. Another one just gonna say CEO Gaming, Bailey. He's getting a lot of flack right now because of the venue, the area. It is what it is. It is an unfortunate thing there. So it's kind of weird that he said that, because the reason why people flock to Nintendo, to some extent, it may be third party, and the idea with the Switch can play console experience on the go. It's a first party game. Mario, Zelda. Remember what Reggie said with the Wii U? To play Mario, Zelda. And to some extent, the majority of people, the reason you buy a Nintendo console is as a secondary complementary console to your either PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or a high-end PC. And that's true. And to some extent, they probably could do that with their first party game if they were good. Not buggy, not low quality. And some people trying to give a chance with Redfall, and he said, nah, I don't know. Granted with Sony, because first of all, the reason I'm sort of a Sony fan, Sony pony, that a lot of people said. First of all, the reason I end up with Sony after with Nintendo for a while, because in 1997, Final Fantasy VII, that was one of my main reasons why I went to Sony. Then ever since, I've been more of Sony than a Nintendo fan. They got exclusive. For me, they got Japanese anime waifu exclusive. For me personally, Neptunia games, dude, on Sony. For a while, they were exclusive to PlayStation. A lot of JRPG. Sony, yes, they're not on the Xbox. Again, because of market reason. That's just for me. So that's probably the reason. And again, you might say, well, why can't Xbox or Microsoft compete with PlayStation? Maybe the games. Well, you're right to some extent. Japanese games are not on the Xbox. Why is that? Player hasn't already said it, that they don't sell there. Unfortunately, it is what it is, because when they see Xbox, the general consumer, even in Japan, they see it as a American, big, strong, Marine, Ultramarine soldier shooter. It's a place when you play Call of Duty, Fortnite, anything that shooter, that manly game with big, bound, muscly. To some extent, maybe they did it to themselves. Who knows? I mean, a lot of people have said that for a while, Call of Duty was a good place to play on Xbox console than PlayStation. But now it's, who knows? Because the deal got blocked. So, I mean, it is what it is. For me personally, believe it or not, I was hoping for them to get it, because at least there will be a reaction to Sony, because Jim Ryan is being a dumbass for a while. But now, with the block, I'm even surprised. I thought everything was good, but it got blocked out of nowhere. So, weird, but that's a different story there. So, it's kind of weird when he said that just making good games is not going to work. But to some extent, he might have a bit of a point there to some extent. Why? Okay, for me personally, I'm not a fan of shooters. I'm not a fan of first-person shooter. I'm not a fan of Call of Duty. They're good. People like them. A lot of Western gamers enjoy playing them. It's a good game. Okay, well, it's a good game. Not to hate. How come you're not playing it? Because it's not my cup of tea. Maybe that's what he's saying also, that to some extent, just because you can do good game, but if it's not a cup of tea and not a lot of people are playing it, then there's no point. I don't know about that. It might be a bit that he might be referring to that, but when it comes to Redfall, a lot of people were excited. They were excited what the developer was doing. Starfield. A lot of people, believe it or not, Bethesda fans, or a lot of them, are wondering like, what is Bethesda's gonna do with Starfield? A lot of people are anticipating that game. It could be that that's the reason, but to some extent it might not be also. I don't know. I'm so confused, but again, because it just sounded defeated, it is unfortunate. So the last part I'm gonna give my thoughts on is, Phil Spencer. Same pattern that happened with the Wii U. A lot of people said that because of the bad reception of the Wii U, fire Iwata. I mean, yes, I'm in the boat that I should feel that Iwata should step down because the direction just wasn't working with him. Because, again, you can see why. It's a common thing. Anything negative that impacts everything, business, the community, the consumer, it's always, well, you gotta fire the person. Iwata, they gave him a second chance because he learned his lesson and he did something different that turned it around. With Mario Kart 8, yeah, you mean you get a free game on the Wii U. Awesome. Switch, guess what? That was Iwata's legacy. Yeah, they weren't gonna let him go, or they're not gonna force him to step down, because even so you don't believe what he does, there were something good about him. James Gunn, right now, some people say, fire James Gunn. Why? Because you're revamping the Snyderverse. Well, I mean, the Snyderverse, good or bad, is an opinion, but because of what he's basically talking about with Henry Cavill no longer being Superman, a lot of people are not happy. Fire James Gunn. I mean, his movie's not even ready yet. I mean, his universe is not even going to start until late 2024, 2025, from what I heard. So, again, I don't know. To some extent, and this one's a rumor. And another one is from the FGC. Ono. Get rid of Ono. Ono sucks. He ruined Street Fighter. And I did talk about it. I mean, like, if it wasn't for Ono, there wouldn't be Street Fighter in the modern times. But because he keeps screwing up, and he screwed up Street Fighter 5. Ono's bad. He ruined Street Fighter. And same goes with Iwata. Nintendo's ruined because poor marketing. They're basically out of touch. He admitted that, but you get the idea. And now a lot of people said, Phil Spencer screwed up. He screwed up with this one. He kept dropping the ball. Halo was ruined. Where's the first party game? You're not giving us big reason to get Game Pass, even so there's a lot of games on Game Pass, but no. Where's your first party game? That's why I want Game Pass for the first party game. Again, you see the pattern there. So when they do good thing, nothing, because anytime a person does something good, they just survive another day. Good for a business, so the business is still going. The minute you do that one bad thing or some bad things, there's some mishap, off with their head. Fire them, get rid of them, because if they keep this up, they might ruin it. Phil Spencer's learning. Okay, maybe he got too ambitious. Maybe he has an idea and the execution was weak. Who knows? But again, kind of like with Ono, kind of like with Iwata. If it wasn't for Phil Spencer, there wouldn't be Xbox. He turned it around after what Don Matrix did. Don Matrix, his idea with the Xbox One, and Phil Spencer said that they lost that generation because they deal with the Xbox One, and the reason the word one was there was it was supposed to be an all-in-one entertainment. It was supposed to be also going to be your cable box, your TV, your video game. That's going to be a place to stream. It's going to be a Roku with Microsoft games, and people said, why? I can just get a Roku. Again, there you go. So he turned that around. Kinect's an optional. Game Pass. Buying studio, giving them a chance to make good games. I know right now there's some kerfuffle, unknown reason why, but we'll just have to wait and see. So, thoughts about that one is that, yeah, that's a pattern. And the minute somebody does something bad, like, oh my goodness, off with their head type of thing, it is unfortunate. Like I said, I have to admit, with Iwata, I always say I believe he should step down because the direction with Nintendo at the time with the Wii U was bad. Turned it around. Prof goes with Phil Spencer. You give him time. He could turn it around. With Starfield, I don't know, because I don't know when it's even going to come out. It's supposed to be fall, winter of 2023 to 2024. Who knows? But as of right now, they are in a big doo-doo. Just gonna say that. So, yes, that is my thoughts on Phil Spencer right now, the direction with the Xbox. It is kind of concerning. Like I said, I got all the console, and to some extent, I'm more focused on Sony and Nintendo, not so much with Microsoft. So it is what it is. But hopefully they do turn it around. I hope Phil Spencer have an idea. We'll just have to wait and see. So with that, I'll see you guys later.